Hey, David, thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Happy to be here, Susan.
So, fill us in on the details. Tell me your full name, the company you work for, and the role you provide there, as well as the product that you provide to your clients.
Well, so my name is David Carta. I work for a company called Telaeris. We are a handheld security and safety product. We have a handheld that reads security badges, um, and that gets used for emergency mustering, badge validation events, basically any place where you want to use a badge um, outside of a getting in a door. Um, and interestingly, I came to you for something that was completely outside of my business needs. Um, we had we had personally built our an internal, and we call it our CRM product, um, and we love it. We honestly live by this product, um, and I said, this is so useful for us. Maybe it's something that could be useful for somebody else. And back in December, I set one of my goals to decide whether we should productize the CRM product and try and bring it to market. So, because we were trying to bring it to market, um, I wanted somebody that had experience in CRM products.
And you found us, but that's an interesting story too, how you and I connected. How did you find us?
That was very interesting. We
Yeah.
did. We were both working with Jeff Davis
Yeah.
with 12 Mavens, and we were on a similar call. And in one of the calls, people described what they did, and you described um, helping customers understand the, their processes and how to stop letting the noise of every day get in the way of actually making money for their business. And I said, wow, that I bet that person has a lot of experience with CRM systems. I bet she could help us.
And we went from there, right? You jumped in, we got on a call, and it was a great fit, I think.
It was a perfect fit, actually. I needed somebody that could actually evaluate what we did, that had experience with other systems, and helped us figure out that what we had actually developed was not just a CRM system, but
Right.
a kind of a business operations system. Um, and I hadn't actually thought about it that way, but it was helpful to get the clarity from you and your team to get there.
So before you and I engaged, before Beyond the Chaos came in to help, what else had you tried? And why was it so important to get this kind of help? Why you engaged us?
Um, well, if you're going to make a product, you really need somebody that actually knows the landscape. Before we started our handheld product, we actually went to a number of security firms and said, "Is this a good fit? Is this going to help you? Is this going to allow you to do things in your business that are going to enhance value for your customers?" And those were the questions that we really needed to answer. And what it required was somebody that had kind of a broad scope of different companies that said, um, how do you manage your customers? How do you manage your sales? How do you manage invoicing? How do you manage RMAs? How do you manage the chaos?
There you go.
And you guys, and I had talked to some people, and the accounting people said, "Oh, this is more than an accounting system." And the CRM people I talked to said, "This really doesn't fit for us because it it's not really quite a CRM system." And so I needed somebody that had experience, but they also had breadth, and that's what you guys brought. You guys brought breadth to uh, analyzing what we had built.
We have worked with a lot of companies that have self-built tools, and it is interesting to see what's important to different people. And so being able to do that as well as our research and our use of multi other off-the-shelf tools, I think it was just a perfect fit for what you needed. It would be really hard to find the right consultant for that. So I'm glad that we were brought together by fate.
It was a God put us in the same virtual room.
Exactly. So, do you remember what the first thing was that we did when we first started the engagement, and how did it make you feel when we started?
Well, so the first meeting was great. We went through the tools. I kind of went through a deep dive of what all the different pieces were that we could provide with our tool. Um, and you asked lots of great questions. And Lynette was the person working with us
Yep.
specifically on this. And I felt great coming out of it. And then you guys went dark, and I'm like, what's going on? And I remember reaching out to you, saying, you know, the first meeting was great, but what's going on? Where are you guys?
Well,
And
and I remember jumping in and I'm like, well, we're talking to your team. We're researching other tools. We were doing all of that background that you have to bring in. And I think that that is I think that reaction is so common to, okay, well, we started and it was great. And now what is happening? It takes just so long to collect the right information to provide an outcome that it can be, I think, disconcerting at first.
well, it's the Instagram generation.
Yeah.
You want it now, right? You want it now. And there is a lot to be said for uh, deep thought,
Mhm.
uh, deep consideration, looking at the competitors, understanding what the tools do, understanding how things work. And Lynette really did a great job bringing that to the table for you and for us, actually understanding what the product was and um, what it was, not because it turned out that it wasn't just a CRM, but it was really more of a business operations platform, a kind of light one, but it got really a neat one that was very useful that could be useful for a lot of people.
I'm hoping so, long run. So where have you landed today? Where does everything stand?
So Lynette gave us some really great documentation, and some really great analysis that talked about what the system did, and what it did well, what users would likely expect. Um, and she talked about how how it was a great tool built for purpose. It was built
Mhm.
for our purpose, um, and we didn't necessarily make it beautiful. We didn't make it. It could be customized, but when you're going to a mass market, you need to have something that's more easily consumable.
Yep.
And it was a little humbling, actually, saying, well, this is a great tool. Why doesn't everybody think like we do?
Like my baby is not ugly.
Um, so um, it's been 2.5 months now
Yeah, I think so.
since we've done work, and we've been doing some really great work in terms of adding features that and holes that Lynette helped identify to clean a bunch of stuff up. We have a completely new user interface that we've cleaned up and that we allows us to evaluate changes very quickly. So we are knee deep in updating a bunch of things, based on, yeah. Oh, and we now have an app that we've built that ties into our existing API that we already had. And she said, it'd be really great if you had this. I'm like, oh, I, our people could use that too. Like, so, so no, you don't get any commissions on the ideas, but they were great ideas.
They were. And I think what's interesting too is that we've worked with a lot of clients who, they want to build a product or they are software developers and they have clients who are like, I want you to build this for me and then I want to sell it. But they have not gone to the depths and research that you have to be able to understand what it takes to sell a product. And since y'all are already selling products, you have an idea of the service need behind everything and those kinds of things. What you're trying to create is not simple. And so doing your due diligence is acknowledged and good job on that.
Thank you. Well, I that's one of the in this scary new AI world that we live in.
Right.
It's really it really comes to mind that what business when you sell a product like this, what businesses need is something that's going to be reliable and is going to just work. And when they have questions, they don't want to be given to an AI agent that says, "Oh, you might do this," and they just want to talk to somebody and have a support staff. And I think you hit it on the nose. We are because we already sell products and we already support customers. We can actually slide this right in to our existing structure and expand our existing structure if it turns out that it's a viable product, and I think it is.
I think it
Um,
is too. I think it is too. It's very exciting. Have you named it yet?
we have not named it yet.
Okay.
We have not
So
named
when
it.
you name it, I'm going to come edit the notes on this and we're going to add the name and a link so that people
Okay.
can go buy it if they want it.
Well, it's either going to be Orbital Desk or we'll stick with XPCRM. So
Okay. Kind
the
of like the first one, but you have
Orbital
to
Desk.
do a little market research on that too, right?
We do.
So, what are the takeaways that you would give to someone else who is considering working with us?
Um, that's a great question. I would start with being patient, um, making making sure that you're able to give the team at Beyond the Chaos all the material that they need. Because the more information that people are able to give you in terms of what are the processes, how do things work, who are the stakeholders, what is causing headaches for the people that are using the tools. The more information you get, the better the recommendations are that you're going to be able to give, and the better the guidance you're going to be able to give your end customers. And and that takes time. It's
Yes.
anything worthwhile is worth waiting for, and it was worth waiting for.
I'm excited to hear that. I'm so glad that this is working out the way that you had hoped. And honestly, I think that's part of what we were able to do is to ferment your hope a little bit.
Well, what I'm looking forward to actually is stage two, when I get it to the point that I think it should be close to ready to go, and then let Lynette have another and your team have another go at it and say, have we gotten there?
That's exciting. Do you have a timeline on that?
Um, my timeline has always been by the end of this year. So,
Okay.
and
So,
we're going faster than I thought we would be going.
oh,
So
that's exciting.
it's yes.
I'm excited for this product to come out. I'm excited to see how it does. And David, thank you so much. I appreciate you talking with me about this today. We appreciated your business and we loved working with you.
It was really my pleasure. And I'm very happy that we fell into the same room.
I know it was meant to be.
Thank you, Susan.